and we are live.
Good evening. Good evening. How is everybody? Let's see. Are
Evening
comments
indeed.
coming in? I see that we do have some comments coming in. We got dancing with Kelly there, as well as musical notes. Ken, how you doing?
Good, good, good. How are you doing, Dave?
I am. I had a very busy but very productive day. I literally was late to our pre setup because we went out to a dinner with people in our church and came home, tucked in the littles, and then basically ran right up here. So it's been one of those days where it's been go, go, go. And one of the same littles has cut teeth. So this day started really early today.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I remember those days.
Cutting
Definitely
teeth.
remember those days.
Yeah, I don't know who has it worse, the child or like the parents having to help the child cut the teeth.
Yeah, that's a rough stage. Fortunately, they don't remember it when they get older. So, although we do.
Yeah, it's like I didn't need to sleep today, did I? Dave got a haircut. I got all of them cut. Oh, that's like the daddest dad joke right there.
So, I know we talked about this before. I saw the latest Fantastic Four this past week.
You did?
Yeah. And I know this isn't our movie review, but I'll say this much for it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like fantastic either. It wasn't really fantastic. It was just it was nothing spectacular about it. So, not say, I'm not saying don't watch it, but it was kind of blah. It wasn't like unexpected or exciting or anything. I mean, it was done well, but for what it was, but I just wasn't that excited about it.
So here's a question for you. Your family and my family, we both seem to use this phrase, didn't hate it. Where does didn't hate it on the scale? So there's excellent, there's good, it was all right.
I think it's kind of in the middle between really loving it and hating it. It's just in the middle there. It's just take it or leave it. It's kind of like a take it or leave it movie.
Okay, take it or leave it. We use didn't hate it to whenever we like give our cat something or one of our kids something, and they're like, oh, and they eat, like, say you're feeding them something, making dinner, or we're giving a treat to the cat. The cat will eat it and then eat most of it, but then walks away. Or the child will be like, no comment given, and just finishes it. We're like, well, they didn't hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It crosses the line, but not that far up the line. It's one of my favorite phrases. Well, I didn't hate it. So
like almost a politically correct statement. Don't want to offend anyone. Didn't hate it, but
wasn't great.
Didn't love it
terrible.
either.
Yeah, that's about right. So didn't hate it. What did we do? We watched I watched sports again this week. We watched a bunch of hockey. All my teams lost. They always lose lately. So that's a thing. Was reading. What was I reading? I was reading G.K. Chesterton, not for work, but for fun. But it's like, you ever read a book where you have to think for fun?
Yeah.
And then this is a book that, Ken, you got to read it, but get it on Audible. Don't actually read it. Like, get it so you listen to it while you're doing something else. Till We All Have Faces, I think that's what it is, by C.S. Lewis. It's a space. C.S. Lewis wrote a whole trilogy of books about outer space.
Okay.
So Lewis and C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were friends, and they challenged each other to write in science fiction. And so they drew straws. Lewis got space, and Tolkien got time travel. Tolkien couldn't write the book.
Okay.
He gave up. He just threw in the towel. You can actually read the part that he wrote. But Lewis wrote the 3 books on outer space travel. And I'm reading the last of the books, and it starts out real slow. It's like walking through hardening cement. That's how slow it takes to step out. And then after that, it gets really good. And basically the whole premise of the book is like scientists are colluding with demons to take over the world.
Okay. All
And
right.
you're like,
That
this
sounds
seems, yeah.
style. Yeah.
And it ends up being like, this seems a little too relevant to what's actually going on in the world. It's like,
And this
wow,
was
this could
written
be
how
like,
many years ago? Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
written in 1943.
Yeah.
So he wrote it to take
Uh,
place after the Second World War. And it's like as if you were just turning on the news today. It's almost chilling. And the only things it's
huh.
missing is, of course, he wouldn't known about the personal computer or the cell phone, but
Yeah.
everything that they're talking about is like, wow, that seems like what they're starting to do in the book seems like, oh, they already succeeded to that one about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So really good piece of fiction, a little too contemporary. So enjoying that and still just gaming a whole lot. We've been playing this. I'm an RPG lover, guys. I I'd rather play a video game and spend $50 and get 100 hours out of it than go see some movies these days and spend $25 and have
Yeah.
2 hours out of it. So we've been gaming a
Yeah.
whole lot. I see you guys got Dutch Brothers. Didn't hate it. Thank you. That's the best. Didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Yeah, you guys have a Dutch Brothers in your area now, don't you?
I guess we do. I'm not into eggnog. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. You know
But
you know
yeah.
who really loves eggnog though? Is Elena, my wife.
Yeah. My wife
She
loves it too. I've tried it. I'm like, it's kind of like, to me, it's like lobster. I mean, my wife loves lobster. I've had it. I'm like, I don't know what the big deal is, but I guess some people love it, and
All
that's
right.
fine with me.
You wanna hear my my relationship with eggnog is a interesting one. So when I was a kid, my mom would have like this old family recipe. Like, who knows where it comes from. But so she'd always make eggnog every year because her dad would make eggnog every year, but she only made it one way with lots of rum.
Okay.
And so here I am, a child drinking eggnog the adult way.
Okay.
so so when I
Nothing
had
can go wrong there.
oh well, what's a good idea? Giving a 12-year-old about a fifth of rum. Nothing. No one has ever had a problem with giving children rum, right? Um,
No, nothing can possibly go wrong.
anyway, so long story short, I have a very developed taste for rum without knowing it. And so, because of course it's Christmas, you're not going to put the cheap stuff in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, from a very little age, I was having eggnog the adult way. Yeah, Kelly, that's correct. Yo. Yeah.
Speaking of the holidays,
Yeah.
I took my daughter up to Tampa today. She had to have some to a hospital facility up there. She had to have some medical tests
Procedure.
done.
Yeah.
And so I drove her up there, and it was a good time. I guess it was a good time for me. I wasn't having the tests, but
Well,
so I was waiting in the waiting room, and I heard some of the staff talking about Thanksgiving dinner at the cafeteria today. I'm like, So my daughter got back. I'm like, supposedly there's Thanksgiving dinner going on at the cafeteria. So we went and found the cafeteria. Of course, it was that it was early afternoon. Neither one of us had eaten. She had to fast all day, so she was
oof.
starving. And so anyway, we went and we found, and they're playing holiday music, and the staff is dancing around and gave us these meals. So we got a meal. It was a turkey dinner with green beans, the turkey, obviously, real mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
and stovetop stuffing, which is awesome, and a drink and a slice of apple pie. Now, what do you
How
think
much?
that would cost?
It's a
What do
hospital
you
cafeteria. $15. All that.
$5.
What?
$5. $5. You can't buy in a restaurant a slice of pie for $5 today.
What?
Okay. this whole thing, I'm like, they must be losing money on this. The food
They
was
must
actually
have.
good. I mean, it was cafeteria food, but it was good. It was enjoyable. Oh,
Yeah.
cranberry sauce. They had cranberry sauce too.
Oh yeah, $35. No way. Yeah, yeah.
So
Kelly,
$5 a piece cost
yeah,
me
Kelly,
10
who
bucks
is
change, $10 in taxes. So, and it was filling. It was good. We actually brought the apple pies home because, I was like, I'm stuffed and she can't have apple pie. So, I had mine later. But yeah, I was like, wow, we picked the perfect day to come up here. And I'll tell you, if this place was closer, we'd be going out to eat there more often at the hospital cafeteria because they can have some good
well,
food there
you
for
guys
cheap.
aren't that far from a hospital. Maybe you should go, like check it
Yeah, we'll
out.
have to check out the local ones. Maybe an anniversary date. Hey, let's go to the local hospital. And see what the
All right.
cafeteria food's
So,
like.
okay, so out of 5, how many stars? What hot do you want to share what facility it was?
It was
Was it
great. Advent Health up there in
so
Tampa.
out of 5 stars, how good was this cafeteria?
I would say it was a 4.5 for
Wow.
cafeteria
Okay.
food.
Okay.
I've been to my share of hospital cafeterias, and it was a 4.5. I would give it.
Oh my goodness, a new podcast segment. My wife must be in my account because I didn't write
Hospital cafeteria food. Yes,
Uh,
definitely.
Advent Port Charlotte food is trash and expensive, says Caleb.
It
So
may be there, but in Tampa, it's pretty darn good.
yeah, 4.5 for me too. Yes, I think maybe this will be a very one-off segment where we get cafeteria food review scores.
Yeah,
Wow.
we could
You
do
know
that.
what? There you go. Next time I'm at Sarasota Memorial Hospital, because I'm a pastor, I'll go to the cafeteria and I'll give my review of the hospital food, and we'll let you know. Wow. So there you go.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
yeah, and all that, with a drink. So, and I took the bottle of water, and they gave you a big bottle of water, not the little tiny one. So,
So do you think it was because they were just something special, or do you think it was because it's always that cheap?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, they have a calendar board up when you walk in of all the different days of the month and like one day's barbecue day, and another's a different type of day. So we just happened to hit the Thanksgiving day. So maybe because it's a week before Thanksgiving, they decided to do it today on Thursday, and we just happened to be there at the right time and
So
partake.
Kelly adds a good point. Plus, if you're really sick or have an allergic reaction, you're already at the hospital.
That's true. Yes, that is
That's
true.
an astute observation, Kelly. And Kelly,
Plenty
I've
of
noticed you
doctors.
keep changing your name on your account. This is like the third iteration of your name now. And then Caleb said, Sarasota Memorial has great pizza. I think it was $3 a slice. Yeah.
That could be the norm. I mean, because I've been to other cafeteria places before, and the food is cheap. In different hospitals, and the food always seems to be, price wise cheap. Whether it's really good or not is debatable depending on where you go. But, so I think they're just selling it for at cost probably. They're not making anything on it. That's for sure. There's no way. There's no way they
Well,
could be
just
making
so
anything.
everyone knows, we will have our Thanksgiving special this coming Monday at same time.
Yep.
We have a fun Thanksgiving things we're going to do, and if you're interested, you can come out and you can send us your best Thanksgiving thoughts and so on. They get you with a $200 aspirin at the Sarasota Memorial Hospital. There's a reason. Yeah, well,
this is true. This is true.
I know that there is a lot of things they charge for.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, so we're going to have our Thanksgiving special this coming Monday. And so we won't have a regular stream on Thursday because it will be Thanksgiving. But I'm looking forward to that. Wow, Thanksgiving at the hospital. So you were in the car. You were in your truck, what, for almost
4 hours?
Yeah.
So traffic on the way up was smooth. On the way back was a little bumpy. So it was probably, 3 3/4 to 4 hours of total travel time.
Well, I'm glad you guys were able to do that. Get that. I know we're y'all keep Kelly in your prayers. She is an awesome mom, and just a great friend, and we just want her to get better. So you're in my prayers, Kelly. You're in my family's prayers all the time. We really do love you.
Well, Dave, I've been excited and waiting for this next segment for quite a while now. So let's
one of us had to be excited.
Yeah, let's move on to this one and see what we got going on here. So, Dave, you and I were talking a little bit before the show, and I just wanted to share this real quick before you jump into your review. We've been going back and forth for weeks now, and I feel like Dave has had the upper hand on breaking me on some of these movies, and I have failed to be able to break him until now. And I'd like to show this picture. This is what was sent to me the other night when Dave was watching Wiz. He doesn't look happy. You don't look happy there. I can't imagine why. I mean, 2 hours of this. What's the problem with that, Dave?
Oh man, The Wiz. So just so people know, The Wiz was nominated for 4 different Oscars once upon the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I did not know that.
The Wiz is a inner city retelling of The Wizard of Oz. And I don't know any of the actors' names except Michael Jackson was the Scarecrow. And actually, good casting for the Scarecrow because he walked like he was all over the place. Like, there you go.
Did he do the moonwalk?
Oh, he did. I'm not having a seizure when I try to act like Michael Jackson, but there was a couple of the hee-hees and all that stuff in the film. Did I get that right? Did I hit the notes right there?
They should have had Michael Jackson and David Bowie in that same movie. That's what I think.
So so just so people understand, I've been purposely trying to get Ken to watch as many musicals as he can get to until he becomes like, actually, that was pretty good. Which I might have hit last week with Enchanted, but Disney, I should not have picked the Disney film because there was a good chance he would have liked it, and you did like it. You said it was okay, but
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. You didn't hate it. That's how he liked it. So I thought Ken's theme was, I'm just going to keep finding people in leotards and just throw leotards at Dave until he's done. So The Wiz is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, except it takes place in New York City, not in Kansas, and it's an all-black cast, and that's the point. It was originally a Broadway play or some sort of mass musical in the 70s, and it continues. They are doing a touring show of America right now with The Wiz. So you and I, if they came to Tampa, go buy tickets to go see the current iteration of The Wiz in theaters right now.
We could go to Tampa and watch it and then go eat food at the hospital cafeteria afterwards.
Well, at least we'd have at least one of those events would be fun.
So how was the music?
So the music was, I think I liked exactly one song, and that was when the Cowardly Lion sang. I'm going to try to talk about I'm going to talk about the negatives and the positives. I'm trying to, I always want to find something I liked about it. So let me tell you what I liked about The Wiz. In a modern movie, that would have all been CGI. All of it.
Oh, yeah.
I actually liked they put them in real costumes and put real makeup on them. And so the Tin Man, he had they layered it on, but he had tons of makeup on. But today they would have put those dot things on his body, and then he would have been like CGI, kind of like Cats was.
Yeah.
The Cowardly Lion, he was the best character in the whole film.
Huh.
He was the most like the Cowardly Lion from the real story, except the language was worse. So can I tell you that all of the songs were super long?
Huh.
The music just did not end. You're like, why? It's 10 minutes. Why is it? So this film, by the way, I feel like I'm everywhere. It was over 2 hours.
Nice.
2 hours of watching The Wiz.
Good. That's terrible.
So Elena had asked me, my wife had asked me, can we just put it on the computer so we could do something else instead of watch it? I said, no, that's against the rules.
That's right.
We have
Cheater.
to watch it on the big screen, and we cannot watch it at 1.5 speed. We have to watch it at regular speed on the
Yeah.
big screen
Gonna have the full effect.
to have the full effect. And it was just so bad. Like the Wiz Oz is filled with garbage. It's inner city rot everywhere. So it's definitely not the Oz. It's definitely the Wiz.
Okay.
Apparently, did you know the Wiz is a Christmas movie? It
No.
takes place at Christmas time. There's some sort of dinner.
It-
Maybe
Is
it's
that kind of like
Thanksgiving.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie because it came out at Christmas?
No, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. This is
Okay.
like how people say Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas
Gotcha.
movie.
Okay. Just
And
checking.
so there are wreaths on the door, but there's never a Christmas tree. There one really big, just really big black woman. She was actually a really good singer.
Huh.
Totally don't remember anything she sang, but it's like, okay, this lady's got some pipes. There was a let's see. I appreciated that Auntie M, which is like Auntie Anne,
Yeah.
was guilting Dorothy into not because she wasn't married. It was like, oh, we need some guilt these days. It's good that they were still guilting people back then. Oh yes, so the big star of the show, and I'm sure people who are really into 1970s and 1980s actors would have been like, oh, that's this guy, and that's this guy, and that's this guy.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But the big
There was a couple people I recognized from Richard Pryor. He was one because he was a comedian back then. He'd been in some movies, and then there one of the women. She was familiar. I know she's been in some like 70s sitcoms.
Yeah. Richard Pryor's
yeah.
a name I recognize, and of course Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's
Yeah.
a Scarecrow. He was
Yeah.
really good. He had a Reese's peanut butter cup for his nose.
Nice.
So that's how they did his nose. The way that they killed the Wicked Witch of the East was when Dorothy was brought into Oz. She crashed through a big letter Z, and the letter Z fell on the witch and killed her.
That was enough to kill her?
That was, yeah. So she got crushed under the big letter Z.
Huh.
It was so creepy. There was tons of creepy scenes.
Huh.
Like the Munchkins from Munchkinland and the real Dorothy were inner city youths who were spray painted into a wall.
Huh.
And so when she smashed the Wicked Witch of the East, the inner city youths, like horror, climbed out of the wall and said, "Thank you for freeing us." And then they broke into dancing.
So it's a Christmas horror movie.
There was some definite horror in there. It looks like a fantastic movie, TBH. You watch that and you get back to me. So Urban Decay has really hit Oz very bad. I wrote that note. Michael Jackson, great Scarecrow because of his dance style. Yeah, the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man must have been really relevant actors at their time. There was a scene. Oh man. Okay, so there was just so many nightmare fuel scenes in this show. There was a scene in the subway where the pillars that hold the subway up broke apart and they started chasing after Dorothy and the Tin Man and all of them. And
wow.
It's like, this is just nightmare fuel. And the garbage cans come alive and start trying to eat Dorothy and the other characters. And
making it this isn't really a kid's movie.
No, there was also an incredible adult scene where some reason, and it has no point to the film, literally no point. They have all these women in incredibly revealing clothes, which, by the way, in the 70s, or at least in this movie, everyone is super thin. All these women are incredibly scantily clad clothing, and they're dancing in like some sort of gentleman's club area. I'm going to be polite. And they just show up, have these women dance. The two characters, Dorothy and was it the Cowardly Lion, get like knocked out by the perfume and the energy of the dance. And then the Tin Man wakes them up with the Scarecrow. Why these women were scantily clad and dancing, I have no idea. But it was just like 6 minutes of barely clothed women. And so I was like, you can't let your kids see this. And
I mean, isn't The Wizard of Oz a kid's movie? I mean, that's like putting a scene like that in a Disney cartoon movie. It's like, okay, so you just deleted your entire fan base.
Yeah, so I guess it was supposed to be like really edgy in the 70s, like all these women not wearing clothing. The flying monkeys were just guys on motorcycles and costume.
Huh.
It's funny. So my grandmother, she saw The Wizard of Oz when it came out in theaters back in the 40s, and she would tell me all the time, like when she saw it, she was afraid for decades of monkeys after that, because as a kid, flying monkeys, it's the 40s,
Yeah.
and she just did not like monkeys for the longest time of her life because of The Wizard of Oz. So every time I see The Wizard of Oz, I think of my grandmother being afraid of monkeys. But it just made no sense. There was a scene in which they were basically unclothed and they were dancing, and it went on and on and on and on. And every dance and every musical number just did not end. When they got to the Emerald City, which was just downtown Manhattan, it was weird because it was at the Twin Towers. They're gone now. So the Twin Towers at the time of the filming would have been brand new. So that was a little shocking for me to see them. So that was the thing. The wizard was a fraud like he is today in the original film. But it felt like an hour of waiting for the other characters to show up, and then an hour of them trying to make filler time between the Cowardly Lion and getting to the Emerald City.
Yeah.
And it was not good. So just to answer a couple questions, would you take your kids to it? No. Were there redeeming qualities? Yeah, the makeup and the non-use of CGI, except for there was a Snow-Nado. That's how she got to Oz, the Snow-Nado.
Do you feel dumber or smarter after watching this? That's a good question.
I was thinking about this one. I just feel confused. I feel like I don't think I've improved as a human being, but I think I can say that's certainly no, it's not even at the high rating of didn't hate it. It was just awful.
Huh.
It was just bad. So don't watch this film. I watched it so you don't have to, everybody.
That sounds good to me.
That sounds good to me. Don't waste your time. This guy, if I could pop him up, this guy, that's how I felt. Look at how he's looking down to the ground. Look at that. He's just so overcome with sadness. That's why this guy and this guy are the same guy. That was how I felt.
I can see that. I can see the same expression.
This face, the hand never left. It just stayed there in sadness the whole time. It just don't do it, guys. Just don't do that. Don't do it to yourself. Don't watch it. Unless you really have a taste for just terrible films. There's the quotient of the movie is so bad it's good. This never gets there.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. And that's my review. This is the bottom of my list right now. I'm sure there are places we can go that are deeper.
I'm afraid to ask you, what do you have in store for me?
So this one coming up is we're going to do something special. So actually, Ken is already in on this one.
I am.
What we're going to do for the amazing month of December is the Hallmark Channel puts out Christmas Hallmark movies every week, a brand new one. And I know Ken has a subscription to the Hallmark Channel. He pays for it. He pays for it lovingly because the dear little wife, the apple of his eye, of course, is worth every single moment of letting her watch these films.
Actually, I didn't even know we were paying for it until recently. So,
well, I know that you love her, and so it keeps getting paid for. And so this coming Saturday is the brand new Hallmark movie special where it's Christmas, but at the NFL. And so Hallmark and the NFL and the Bills team, which is where my wife is from, have partnered together to put out a Hallmark Christmas movie. Ken and I both are going to watch it.
I can't wait.
On Monday, we are going to review the Hallmark Christmas movie. So I know, Kelly, if you got nothing to do, so we're going to be going home. I'll probably have to watch it on Sunday. You guys could watch it on the day of. Yeah, you can watch it the day it comes out, which is Saturday. It's at 8 p.m. Saturday.
No, we'll have to watch it Sunday too.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch. Well, we can watch it, and then we will immediately, for you, our dear viewers, watch it, review it the very next day. And we're going to do this as a challenge in lieu of our regular torture. Events podcast.
Yes.
We're reviewing these Christmas movies until the month of December is out. So have you ever wondered what two dads watching Hallmark movies look like? That's what we will be doing, is two dads reviewing Hallmark Christmas movies for your pleasure and I don't know, not
for ours.
Our wives' enjoyment, that's for sure.
There you go.
I have already found, and I'm going to share with Ken, I have found a bingo card, and I have Hallmark movie bingo ready to go.
Can't wait.
Cannot wait. You didn't know about that one. I saw your eyes get real big for that.
Mm-mm.
And so it has the free space, but it has things like cup of hot chocolate, or what does it say? Ma and sister would love to watch a Hallmark movie. Well, it's gonna be happen. So that's our theme. You let us know. You tell us what you think about Hallmark movies. It is the season, Ken. That's just how it's gonna be. And that's you didn't know you wanted to watch an NFL Christmas Hallmark extravaganza.
I still don't know it for some reason.
Well, that's our that's the movie review for now. So I think we're going to talk about Evolution.
Evolution. We were going to start our next segment right now.
All right. So last week we talked about the need for understanding creation. Specifically, this week I'm going to be looking at the conversation about evolution. So I'm going to pull over my notes real quick because I have notes. When you deal with evolution, evolution is the chief competing worldview as to why everything exists in the Western world. So, Ken, you went to public school, right?
I did not.
You did not
go
to public school?
I did not go to public school.
So where did you go to school again?
I went to, two different states. So I went to basically 4 different schools throughout my school career.
And did they teach you evolution?
They taught us they taught us the theory only, from a Christian perspective. But I know, like, my older 2 kids, especially, even my younger one, they've all been in public school before. My youngest is in Christian school now, but even as a 5-year-old, he was learning stuff about evolution in school. Crazy. And so, obviously we taught him the truth, and his teacher at the time that was teaching this stuff, he or she, I think it was a woman, would allow questions, and my 5-year-old would ask questions that she could not answer about evolution.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's this is what kids are taught today. They're taught that this is the way it is, right? That you're a cosmic accident in a world that's an accident.
So evolution I went to New York State public schools, and in New York State, they taught it. I was in school right when all the intelligent design cases were coming in. And so a lot of lawsuits all over the country about creationism, evolution, intelligent design, all these things were happening. And so because it was a hot topic, these conversations were very much being had in the late 90s, early 2000s. Evolution is a theory in which the definition of evolution is not really hammered down. I think that's intentional. But ultimately, what we're dealing with is what's called macroevolution. Macroevolution is where one species becomes another species.
Right.
And so it's very different than, say, a wolf becomes a chihuahua. They're still 2 dogs. They're just different inside the species of dog. And so a chihuahua and a Great Dane are both equally dog, except because of genetic changes and natural selection, what some people call erroneously microevolution. A dog is still a dog. It's still technically reproducible within the species. They're just so drastically different, but while still being the same. And
Right.
so microevolution, or what's more accurately called natural selection, is not evolution. Macroevolution is where a duck changes into an octopus, something
Mhm.
significant, big change type of thing. And so basically the idea is that life started from molecules and changed to man.
Right.
Evolution is popularized by Charles Darwin, who wrote The Origin of Species, but there were pre-theories of evolution prior to Darwin's life. There were different French philosophers who said it, and there's even, if you look at it, as far back as ancient Greece, people were tinkering with a sort of pseudo evolutionary theory. So
Yeah.
evolution has been around for a long time. Yeah, Kelly said we were taught evolution in the public schools for sure.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking at today is macroevolution, or one thing from a molecule to a man. Now, the problem with evolution is that it's just not so let's go to the problems with evolution. Let me start there. The problem with this is it's just not demonstratable in reality. Ken, in your lifetime, have you seen anything evolve yet?
No, I have not. I have not, and that's the big thing. The evolution itself, all the theories they have, they can't be reproduced. They can't be observed. The Big Bang cannot be observed.
Yeah.
And, you have to have you talk about science, well, where's the science? Science is observation.
Yes,
Well,
science is an observational um it's an observational trade. That's what you do. Science is based on the scientific method, which is reproducible observations.
yep,
Testable, reproducible observations. And because this is a theory, it is not testable. If evolution was occurring, it should be occurring at every single moment. There should
yeah,
be finishing macroevolution as we speak in our lifetime, or in the lifetime of modern education. So the way you could say the modern era has really existed since maybe, let's say, the 1800s. Modern scientific theory, modern thinking has existed since over 150 years now. You would think in this period of time, it's not a big period of time, that somebody would observe and show scientifically this creature finished its change. But it has not happened. It just is not demonstratable.
well,
Um,
and
oh,
the
go
other
ahead.
thing, Dave, is where are the animals that are transitioning?
Oh, we'll
Where
get
are they?
there. Yes, we'll get there.
Yeah,
The fossil record, well, just to jump off of Ken's point, because we might as well. The fossil record. Now, let me start like this. We live in America. The theory of evolution comes out of Europe. These are two bastions of Western Christian educated thinking, right?
mhm,
High technology, high development, lots of people, lots of researchers. There are fossils under our feet. They are. So there should be transitionary species between any number of animals. There should be a horse. There should be the thing between the horse and the thing that horses evolved from. And
right.
so you can see, so this pre-horse animal, these things between horses, and then the final horse that we
And
have today.
and
But
Dave, there
those,
should literally be billions of these things. We should
yes.
be stepping on them everywhere.
And yet, there should not be sustained observable groups of any kind of species. There should be just lots of mutants, so to speak, everywhere.
Right,
And these transitionary fossils just do not exist. They don't.
right.
We have no demonstrable evidence of macroevolution in the fossil record. It's just not there. And today, now more than ever, there are more researchers alive. There's more technology. There's AI logistical technology. There's mapping systems and satellite systems, as well as chemical testing systems that exist today that allow us to look into creation as it is and see it in ways that, even, like I said, 150 years ago would not have been possible.
Right.
So we have no excuse now. There's enough that they can do it, and it's just not there. It is not there. The transitional species, for the animals existing on our continent and Europe and all the other modern nations of the world now, they're just not underneath our feet. So that's
Right.
the first problem with it, is it's just not observed. So you have to make an assumption in which that the world has to be billions and billions of years old. And there's a problem there too, because if you speed up the rotation of the Earth is slowing every year by a consistent amount. If you were to speed it up by going backwards in time, no one would be able to stand on this earth, because
everything would have flown off.
Yeah, the way the speed slows down, you have to really back it out for a long time. And so we have to presuppose, and that's the problem, presuppose these certain characteristics. And that's not, now theories are good. It's good to have a theory, but to base everything off of something that is very loose is not good. Again, the next issue I see with evolution is it confuses natural selection with macroevolution. So
Right.
let me explain. I think I explained a little bit in the opener. Natural selection is where, for example, let's take dogs. Dogs are easy. We all know about dogs. We love dogs. Same thing with cats. Have you ever owned a terrier, Ken?
Well, first of all, let's clarify. I don't love cats, but
Okay, well, some of us have to love cats.
no, I have not. I have not owned a terrier.
Terriers are designed to get rid of pests like rats and so on. Have you ever owned a shepherding dog? Yeah. So shepherding dogs, like a German Shepherd, even a Corgi, they demonstrate a characteristic where that animal, that dog, will, for some reason, for people, they'll lean on you because they're going to shepherd you into an area, and so they naturally want to bring the animals to themselves. A terrier.
Yep.
So my family owned a Jack Russell Terrier. That dog naturally was looking to remove pests. And so what that little Jack Russell did was he literally ate every single squirrel, every single chipmunk, and every single rat on the property. And we had no small mammals because he ate them all. And the shepherd would always, we had a German Shepherd. Her name was Delilah. She'd always become, so if Ken came to my house, the dog would get between Ken and I and lean on me because she shepherded me away from what she'd perceive as a possible issue. And so, but the two dogs are still able to reproduce if they ever could, which ours were not able to because they were fixed. They were still able to have offspring that are viable. And so you have in this genuine canine understanding, one species, but they were different. They were different inside the species, yet still good. So again, what this looks like, some dogs are big, some dogs are small. Some dogs are black, some dogs are yellow, some dogs are white, some have long hair, some have short hair. It depends on what their breed was created to do.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, do you know why what poodles were bred for?
I think I've heard this, but I don't remember.
Poodles were bred for being guard dogs in France.
Really?
And so if you ever hear a poodle bark, it is like deep and scary. And they're still very aggressive, but because of the way they cut their hair developed, they started using them to be foofy.
Yeah,
so
okay.
They're aggressive, but they're bred to look foofy.
They're probably doing that because they're mad that they've been bred to look foofy.
Yeah. Actually, so that's what happens. In fact, another thing in the microevolution was, you know how St. Bernards have the droopy jowls, droopy dogs? Because of droopiness is such an ideal trait in a St. Bernard and many dog breeds, they've bred them so they're even more droopy, which actually is detrimental to the breathing of the dog.
Okay.
But so what this means, you see this, he's talking about all these dogs. What does this mean? Well, microevolution, or more accurately, natural selection, actually checks out with scripture and says this in Genesis 1:24-25. The joke went right over Dave's head. I don't get it. Oh, the transition video is louder every time. Is that what the joke is?
I miss it too. It's probably the hour.
Oh,
it's late in the day.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Bible says this, talking about microevolution or natural selection. God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind.
Yeah.
About the poodle. I've been up since like
I know what they're talking about. Yeah. You acknowledged it. When I say
What?
he's mad because he looks like a foo-foo,
Oh
that's what
yeah.
they're talking about.
Oh, okay,
Right, saw
okay.
himself in the mirror, he's like, "What'd you do to me?" And he's barking, deep and angry all the time now, so that's what that was.
Okay, okay. There you go, guys. I'm gonna chalk that up to it's 10 at night and I'm been up since 5 this morning. But so you see natural selection makes sense because it comports with Genesis.
Yeah,
Um like again, another animal. You see this mostly with domesticated animals, but it does exist in nature too. Um, you could see Jersey cows and you could see meat cows and so on. Jersey
yeah,
cows are the cows that are really good at having milk, and they're steer cows, really good at just big and being made to produce steak and chops.
yeah,
Why? Because it increases in their kind. In the cat family, for example, you've heard of ligers and tigons, right?
yeah,
So liger is and a tigon are the successful offspring of tigers and lions together.
right,
Um, Cats are very unique in the fact that most cat species, if they're the same, similar enough in size, can mix with one another
yeah,
because of how close they are together. Dogs are the same way. So, like a dog and a wolf, or a dog and a coyote.
mhm,
I'm not sure about foxes, but these species are close enough because they speciate off of their own kinds.
right,
Uh, and so people will confuse natural selection with macroevolution. One does not mean the other is true.
right,
What Darwin did was Darwin went to the what are the not the Canaries, the Galapagos Islands, and he
yep,
saw all these finches with different sized beaks. They're all the same
right.
fish, they just had different beaks. And what
Yeah,
happened
still a
was
bird. They're still a bird.
they're still the same bird. They all were able to reproduce, but in order to eat at different parts of the island, different groups of them, their beaks change shape.
Right,
But for example, what we have going on today is bacteria is becoming resistant to antibacterial drugs.
right,
People will falsely claim that's evolution. It's like, well,
right,
no. If they have, let's say, penicillin, there's like a petri dish full of germs, and you drop a drop of penicillin on it, and 90% of them die. That means 10% of the population was resistant to it.
right.
And then that 10% of the population reproduces. And suddenly that whole population is more immune to penicillin than it was prior.
Mhm.
Um, so that's what happens. You didn't have evolution, you just had successful reproduction of a subset that had immunity.
Right.
Let's go even bigger. One, it's between half and a third of all people of European descent, so it'd be Ken and I, our descent were killed by the bubonic plague back in the Middle Ages.
Mhm.
We are the descendants of those who did not die.
Right.
And so there was no evolution there. What happened was our ancestors were naturally more resilient against the disease. And
Mhm.
so we are their descendants because they lived.
Yeah.
Um, and so, in the same way, it happens both in bacteria, it happens in people, it happens in animals, and so on. These are out there. So
And
you
all
cannot,
these things happen, but these animals and bacteria are still the same animals, still the same bacteria, we're
exactly.
still the same humans. It's micro evolution or adaptation. It's like when you go out and spend if you work out in the sun every day, your skin's going to get darker,
Yeah.
right? And it's a natural process to try to protect your body. It's adaptation.
Yeah.
I'm not turning into something else, and it's every God created us to where we can adapt in certain ways to a point, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with animals to a point, and that's what we see.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we don't see the crossover from one kind to another. You don't see that anywhere. And that's the
yeah. Like,
mistake that Darwin made that people
yeah.
that follow like the Galapagos Islands. Yeah, but the question is, did they change? Did that bird change into something else? The answer is no, it's still a
No,
bird.
it did. It's still the same species, even. It's just a different
Right.
thing. I mean, you
Yeah.
could go on and on about this. Like, why did people develop white skin? Well, because Europe is so much further to the north. They needed to absorb more melanin. They needed to absorb more sunlight. That's why our skin is fairer
Mhm.
because of that.
Yep.
People with darker skin needed to absorb less sunlight so that they wouldn't cook themselves so much. And even then,
Right.
and then when it's successful, those genes pass on. When it's not successful, they don't pass on, and
Right.
so on and so forth. So there is no evolution so much as it is that natural selection over time. The next problem with evolution, of course, is I think one of the two biggest kill shots on evolution is the second law of thermodynamics. Ken, do you know about this one at all?
Yeah, everything's wearing out.
Entropy is naturally increasing in every system. And so entropy is where complex things be reduced to less complex things. So, for example, have you ever got a heating pack? Like you snapped it open, you're outside on a cold day, you snap open the heating pack, you put it in your gloves. How long does that last?
Not long enough.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
At best. Well, why? It's because the entropy is spreading the heat over the max amount of places until it effectively is dissipated the heat evenly over the area it's at. And so there's less of it because it's everywhere as opposed to concentrated. You and I experience entropy every day. You wake up with another wrinkle. You wake up with another gray hair. You wake up with a little more tired. Your body is not as spry as it was 10 minutes ago. Your brain not as able to quickly get things as it goes on. A new rust spot on your car. Your shoes are a little more run down. Everything is gradually becoming less and less organized and more simple. That's what happens. Entropy increases. And the problem this gives to evolutionary thinking is evolution assumes that single cell organisms have developed into multi-cell organisms as complicated as you and I, including the most complicated part of a human being, which is the human eye, not a little brain. And so somehow a single-celled organism had to go against the theory, the law of entropy, to become a very complicated multicellular being like mankind. This is a huge problem. Because while the theory of evolution is useful, the law of thermodynamics is a proven fact. And so you have basic physics stamping on advanced biology. And so you have this competition between two sciences that I don't think actually has been handled. And then you have another problem this leads to. No new genetic information has ever been created. So you have to take a single cell organism and it somehow has to develop new data, new DNA to make it a multi-cell organism. And how can that do that? What is going to be adding the DNA? How does it naturally make more DNA? We see with antibacterial resistant bacteria, they're not making new DNA or new genetic information. They just had the right combination that made them resistant. There's nothing new created. It was already present. So we don't see things getting more complicated over time. We see things, in fact, getting simpler or breaking down. We don't see the addition of new information. We do see that things reproduce in their kind, and we don't see macroevolution happening at all in observable time. You have all these problems. So you have to immediately, and this is my story, I stopped believing in evolution before I became a Christian. I stopped believing it long before I was a Christian. Because scientifically, you can't have everything decaying and yet everything getting more complicated. Just you can't square that circle. So then you'd have to do, and this is the problem that they were having when I was in school. Well, then what if evolution is true, but what if God is doing it? The problem with that is, I'll quote Spurgeon here. I do not know, and I do not say that a person cannot believe in revelation and in evolution too. For a man may believe that which is infinitely wise and also that which is only asinine. If you can't believe in both things, you cannot. You call God a liar. We talked about this last week. If you believe in evolution, you are saying to God, you are a liar. This is not how he has made things. It is a confusion of things. Now, the only way that I think evolution could be viable as if God directed it, because some outside source would have to create the information.
Right.
But the reality is that some outside source did create the information, but he created it as it is.
Right.
And why did he create it as it is? Because that's what the Bible reveals. God made the animals and the livestock after their kind, and on the sixth day, he made man in his very own image. He didn't make proto-human beings that were not image bearers, and then one day say, boom, this one, though, that guy,
Yeah.
that one is an image bearer.
Yeah.
No, he did it right away. And so we're not given the option of theological or what is that? Spiritual evolution. There's a phrase for what it's called. Deistic or theistic evolution.
Theistic, yeah.
It's not a viable option. It is mixing that which is good. Let me put it even more crassly. It's like putting icing on a piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna eat into this and you're gonna taste rot.
Yeah.
It looks great, but it's just not real cake. It's just icing on garbage.
The two are incompatible.
Yeah.
They're not compatible.
Now, the thing about people is people could try to hold these two things at one time. But ultimately, you can't do it. It's going to fall apart. Evolution.
You have to be of the mindset that the Bible is not really the inerrant, perfect word of God, that there are mistakes in it, and that therefore then you can kind of plug that in there, because then you can dismiss the verses that contradict all, evolution. And even like going back to Genesis, the push today is Genesis didn't really happen, right? It didn't really happen. The Old Testament is just poetry. Well, if you have that mindset, then yeah, you can plug evolution in there and make it say whatever you want. But if you take the Bible literally, it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
You can't square the circle. I hate to say it. I feel like I've said it 3 or 4 times. Evolution as it stands is a destructive theory. So I might be wrong about this. Hey Siri, I'm not talking to you. I have a feeling, and I've heard some other people say it as well. I think evolution is actually on its way out as a theory, because there's just so many issues with it.
I agree with you. Because you hear more and more now, so evolution was supposed to be the answer to these questions. Where did everything come from if there was no God? Now the answer is more and more, it's unknowable.
Yes.
It's unknowable.
And that's because they can't defend the position of evolution anymore.
Exactly.
Because number one, it is so diabolically rotten that it reduces mankind to just merely stuff.
Right.
We are bags of mostly water. Or
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, that's the Star Trek quote, right?
Yep, that is.
Or the more eloquent scientists will say, we are star stuff. It's a load of hogwash, but
stardust.
The problem is that when you reduce man to things, he acts like a thing. When you reduce man to an animal, he acts like an animal.
Right.
Evolutionarily thinking, like Ken and I should be going out and murdering our competitors and having as many children as possible so that our genetics would go forward and those that are inferior would not.
Right.
And we should be genetically through evolution, we should just be ruthless. And it just doesn't comport with reality. It just doesn't.
Right.
And that's just on the moral and theological side. On the scientific side, like I said, how can you support this? Where is the fossil record? And I think what you're seeing is more and more people have rejected it. They only hold it because they are looking for something. They're looking for a reason not to believe in Christianity, and that's really what it is. But I think more and more people are embarrassed by evolution. I want to say, Ken, and maybe you'll think otherwise. 20 years ago, it was not the point. 20 years ago, people were like, evolution is real. You need to get over yourself. Today.
Oh, yeah.
Today,
evolution was pushing hard. It was pushing hard. And we, even in school, we would hear there were people that believed that God used evolution to create the world, and like you said, but the more we're finding out, the more science is actually showing us that evolution has been retreating and retreating and retreating. Yeah. And we're seeing that today, where even like someone like Richard Dawkins, who's like a famous spokesperson for evolution, He admits that we were intelligently designed. However, he won't admit it was God. He thinks
Yeah.
it's some other being. Well, where did they come from? It's like
Well, yeah,
they just
it's
kick the
always
can down the road. And his
that's the
answer, of course,
problem.
is it's unknowable. Yeah, it's unknowable is what he says.
Well,
So
it's because and now, Ken, let me ask you something. Let me frame it like this first. Ken, can you dig a hole with a hammer?
I could. It would take a while.
Should you dig a hole with a hammer?
No, it's not the
So,
right tool.
and that's the whole point. Science is a tool.
Yeah.
And what people are trying to
Yeah.
do is they're trying to dig a hole with a hammer, except they're
Right.
trying to replace God with science.
Mm-hmm.
And because they are using the tool the wrong way, science is a tool. It's a great tool. In
Right.
fact, I would say God loves science because he designed it all.
Yeah.
God is a good father who he loves when we figure things out. So will we figure out, Ken and I we have already decided that we're either going to work on the Enterprise in this life or the next. And I don't know that faster than light travel is real, but if God knows it's real, I'm sure the day we figure it out, if it's possible, how to go faster than light or get around the speed of light somehow, like God's going to be laughing because he'll be like a dad who's like, I'm so happy you figured it out and opened that gift.
Yeah.
I think God loves when we discover things. In fact, from what I read of the Bible, it's the pleasure of God to hide and the joy of kings to find. So when we discover things, both in the Bible but in the universe, it makes God, I think, really happy. So when we use science properly, I believe it brings God joy. But when you are trying to turn a hammer into a shovel, it'll never work out because it will never be able to bear the burden that it is meant to do. A hammer is meant for nails. Science is meant for science. Science is not meant for belief.
Right.
When you start trusting in a tool that's not made to be trusted in, you're gonna run into a problem. And I think a lot of people are seeing like, hey, you can't keep digging this hole with this hammer.
Yeah.
And it's just going to tire you out and waste your time. But if you grab on to Christ, who is made to be a system, he's a person that your whole life can be securely built on, you can find that it's the right tool, the right means in which you can build your life on. Science will never do it. It's just, the Bible warns, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. But when you make something, you love something more than God, it is the root of all kinds of evil. And so whether you take science, you take finance, you put anything in that place that's meant for God, it's just going to lead you to evil. And that thing that you put there, it cannot bear that burden. It'll break.
Right.
If you are a person who actually legitimately loves science and scientific discovery, the way for you to love it well is to understand what it is and use it to bring God glory, not to be in place of God.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, you will enjoy your scientific discovery actually even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Ken.
Go ahead.
That's all I got.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I'm going to turn into this if I keep talking.
That is awesome. No, I think that's a good point to wrap up for tonight. And we will be back on Monday for our special for Thanksgiving. And then we'll be back to Thursday, not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. Be back to Thursday. So thank you for joining us tonight, and leave your comments. Don't forget to click like, and we'll be back with a show next week.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.